Going to understand that you're all in the age group of 25 to 35, is that right?
Yes.
Someone even younger.
Younger?
22.
Oh my God, okay.
21.
How many of you married? Quite a few. With kids?
Married with 21. First married.
Okay, good.
Married with kids.
Today's world is a very fast-paced world where stress, I'm very busy, I have no time to breathe seems to be the buzzwords, right? Competitive world, cutthroat competition, each one trying to prove their worth, excel in their field of work, be successful, earn lots of money, of course, fame, name, that is all we all are running behind now. Seems like a more want-based life rather than a need-based life actually. Okay, so before I start, let me tell you, I'm not a professional speaker, but nevertheless, I've just come here to share my thoughts on this subject, and it might have a philosophical or a spiritual note to it. So I really hope you have some take-home from what I've spoken. So yes, how does typically everybody's life start off on a day-to-day basis when you started working? It's basically a busy life. So you wake up in the morning and all you have time to probably do is just get ready and rush for work. That is what is happening in the current scenario. You don't think of anything else except reaching work on time. You don't even give a thought of what kind of breakfast you're having, or should I even sit and speak to my family. That's the only, your goal is to get ready and leave. Now, given Bangalore's chaotic traffic, madness, on an average anybody takes about an hour to an hour and a half to reach workplace, given that some stay, traveling from North Bangalore to South Bangalore, East to West, vice versa. So, and if you're on the wheel driving, then we all know the madness. The stress has already started piling on us before we reach work. So then once you reach work, what happens? Typical day, pressures at work, projects, deadlines. I see that most of you are entrepreneurs. You have your own stuff to be done, client meetings. Typical work days, so much of pressure, so much of stress. And then if you have a boss who is irritating, even more. If you have co-workers who you're picking up squabbles with, another irritation to add. So generally you have a very, very, a very stressful life around during your work day. And then you wind up your day and then you get back home. Again, returning back, the traffic is madness. So you're ending up probably reaching home at about, say, any time between 8 and 10. And because I guess you all are so young and you're all willing to give that 10 hours, 12 hours to work. Right? I mean, it's those days of giving 8 hours to 9 hours of work is gone. So you're all trying to give in more, you're trying to spend more time at work, so you get back to work. And if you're single, it's still fine, I guess, the parents understand, or if you're living alone, there's no other pressure. Now, the actual pressure starts when you have a family, when you have a spouse, when you have kids. You're supposed to give time to them, attention to them. Fair, isn't it? But still, yes, you come back, you're not in a mood to really sit and probably talk because of some accumulation of work pressure you're carrying in the day. And most of you carry work back home, you're on calls, you're on your laptop, you're trying to finish something. So then it's the end of the day, and then you just grab something and then you hit the sack. So this is a cycle which repeats day on day. And so what happens here? One is you're not taking care of yourself, which means you are not putting your mind into what you eat. You're basically picking up anything on the go, which is nutritionally deficient food, very high on empty calories, and which lacks prana. By prana, I mean the life energy source. So you're basically, by and large, choosing foods which are not good for your health because you're in a hurry to rush. And whatever you get is what you put in, deep fried and those kind of stuff. So then at home, what is happening? You're not able to give sufficient time to your family, your spouse and kids, which means there is a general aura of irritation and frustration that is piling up slowly on a day-to-day basis. Now, it's obviously, I think, valid because your spouse, mainly probably the wives, start saying you don't give me enough time, you're always at work, and you don't have time to check on your kids. What are they up to? How's their school day? You have no time to sit with them for homeworks, which is actually an idealistic situation to be in, but you don't have the time, nor the energy, nor the patience. Even if you want to, there is something at the back of your mind about work which is not allowing you to give that kind of time. So this kind of negativity is slowly piling in the house around everybody, and because of that, there is a very low frequency vibration that starts traveling in the house because of the kind of energy you all emit. Your spouse is irritated, you're irritated, your kids are doing something, you don't know what they're doing, they're naughty. Because you're not giving them attention, they're hyperactive, they're doing some nonsense or the other. So this negative energy is what you carry back to work the next day without your knowledge, because your aura is emitting that kind of low frequency vibration. So what happens is your productivity plummets. Probably the reaction to your co-workers and to your boss is also on a negative note, because that is what you're radiating and that's what you're getting back. So things may not go well, you're kind of irritated, they are irritated with you. There is no happy atmosphere because of all this kind of things. Because actually stress and being busy is giving cause to all this. You're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of your relationships, so you're not happy at work also. So this is what is generally happening. Now, we are also in a very competitive world. We want to try and prove that we are better than the other. It's the race of life is like that, you know. Somebody is going ahead of you, your worker, your friend. Why can't I do the same thing? Why can't I earn as much as him? Why can't I get to that point? So it's like you're traveling in a car on the road of life and you're going at a pace which is comfortable to you. Say let's call that pace X. And then there is suddenly somebody who comes and overtakes you. So what does your ego tell you? No, I can't let him overtake me. I have to go ahead of him. So you increase your accelerator and increase your pace to say pace 2x. You're going on 2x, there's again another person who's coming and trying to overtake you. So you want to overtake that person too, so you rise your accelerator to say 4x. So in this journey of going on increasing your speed pace by pace, you're going 4x, 6x, 8x, and then finally when you're trying to get to that pace of 10x, you have finally crashed. Now why did you crash? Because you have lost balance, you've lost control of your life. What does it translate to work life? It's just that you're traveling at a pace, you have been traveling at a speed which has not been comfortable for you. In order to drive into that cutthroat competition, you've neglected yourself, what your body is telling you, how your circumstances at home is, and you've gone at such a speed which you're unable to handle and you've crashed. By crash, what do I mean? Stress which has manifested in form of physical ailments and also mental ailments. Physical ailments, but what do I mean by that? Because you've not been eating right, you have no time for exercise. Obviously, you're so busy, you've not been taking care of your body. So what happens when your body is lacking diet, a good exercise, and also now that your family environment is not very fulfilling and happy, there is only mostly irritations there, your emotional nourishment is also being questioned. So when you're not physically happy, you're not emotionally you don't have fulfilling relationships, your productivity is also coming down at work. So this is all, I think it's a cycle. So what does one do to attain this elusive thing called balance, work-life balance? So what does one do? Now if I were to ask you to rate 3 things in order of priority, some of you can tell me what that would be. Work, family and self. How would you rate it as 1, 2, 3? Can a few of you raise your hands and tell me what you think the order is and should be?
Family, work.
One word.
Self, family, work.
Any other different answers?
Family, work, self.
Family, work,
Okay, so if I were to tell you I agree with these 2 gentlemen here, the order of priority would be self, family and work. Surprising? Why would I place self on top? Am I being selfish to, take care of myself first?
Then we will do the other two better. If you take care of yourself, take care of yourself, you take care of your family, the other.
So, the order of priority should be self, family and work. Why? Because it's again a vicious cycle now. If you take care of yourself, you're happy, physically fit, mentally happy, and you have, strong emotional bonds, strong relationships in place. Life is very fulfilling. That includes family as well. So, self and family, taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, and then when you go to work, your general aura and frequency has changed to a very high vibrational frequency because your stress levels have almost decreased because you're happy with the other aspects of life. So what happens? You're able to concentrate more at work, you're able to utilize the time in a much better way. Probably some task which you would take 2 hours to complete, you would be probably taking about an hour because your mind is fully into what you're doing because there is no other, frustration in the background of your mind. So that way then, when you're radiating that positive aura, automatically the response from your co-workers, from your boss to you dramatically changes. So what you radiate is what you get. So when you radiate positivity, you get back positivity. So there is a general sense of well-being. So this is like a vicious cycle. So self, family and work. So what do I do to take care of myself? Of course, when I say take care of self, it means there is a few nourishment aspects you need to take care of. Physical, emotional, mental and spiritual. So physical nourishment means diet and exercise. Now I would say that balance is all about priorities. It is about what you prioritize in life, what you want to do with your life, and where is that time you want to give to your life, and see to that all the aspects are in balance. It's just about priorities. Now if I prioritize giving 1 hour of my time for exercise, which could be brisk walk, which could be like the gym or yoga, which is a complete solution for the mind, body and soul, you have to dedicate that much of time. You have to prioritize exercising because by exercising you're avoiding many ailments like obesity, which is most common, gastritis, spondylosis, diabetes, and now currently we're seeing heart attacks. Employees in their 30s. I'm reading the papers that the stress levels have caused them heart attacks, which is a very alarming situation. And of course, with so much pressure, depression is so commonly on the rise. Everywhere you see depression, because your mind is not stable. You're not able to give that kind of nourishment to your mind. You don't know where to focus properly. So all this is an impact of not keeping yourself physically fit and mentally fit. So how do you keep yourself mentally fit? I strongly believe in tools like meditation, yoga and breath work, because they really help you bring your mind to the now, neither in the past nor in the future. They help you stabilize breath. How many of you practice meditation, or if you say pranayams, yoga? 3. So I'm sure you would know what are the what changes you feel when you do pranayams or when you meditate. So that really adds to a very, very positive aura around you and keeps you very mentally alert, stress-free to a lot of extent. By emotional nourishment, what I mean is you have to dedicate that time to your family. Could be definitely spouse, kids, parents, extended family, and of course friends. Having a good family relationship and social circle is definitely enriching to your life. It is a proven fact. When you have fulfilling relationships, you perform better at work. So make it a point to spend some time of your day, probably when you get back, with your spouse. Talk to her, him, and find out how their day went. What made them happy today? What made them sad today? Time to talk to them. It's like just sitting by the side and talking to your partner or the one you love has so much of a positive impact on your mind and soul, trust me. So intimacy is definitely important with your partner. It could be emotional, it could be physical, but that is extremely important to add to your quality of life. And of course, kids. If you have kids, it's definitely your responsibility to guide them right from wrong. saying I don't have time and just let them be handled by one partner, or probably the grandparents or the maid, will definitely not make them better citizens. You have to give them that time, probably sit with them and ask them how their school day went, what did they do, and they'll, kids, so they just start talking, this happened, that happened. So you can guide them from what they did was right, what they did was wrong. This slowly make sure that you have a great bonding with your kid as well. So now when the environment in your house is happy by and large, your emotional bonds, it's starting to strengthen, and your sense of holistic well-being is now rising. So the same energy you carry back to work next day, like I said. So you're indeed going to be a happy person that way. So by spiritual nourishment, it's another topic. Probably, I don't know if people your age will like it, but over the long run, as you grow older, you'll realize that a spiritual, probably hearing spiritual talks or reading about it, gives us a broader perspective of life. It introduces you to aspects like what really life is all about, what you must be doing. Is money all that important? Is that the only factor we should be running behind? Importance of love, importance of gratitude, sacrifice. So it's a beyond dimension, rather from the dimension what we are actually thinking and living in now. So spiritual nourishment is definitely very necessary for your holistic well-being. So when a person is taking care of the self, then the family, and then the work, that means he's balanced and he's successful. So that is my take on it. It's a small time given to me, so I'll not elaborate too much. So that is my mantra on achieving balance. Now, when I say also, of course, money is important. What do? I have to give my 12 hours of time. I think again, it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of priority, how you want to lead your life, where you want to cut down on work. There are some people who have probably a main job and also take up other jobs as well to earn in more, to bring in more to their pocket. So you're devoting time into so many areas. Now it will be a conscious call to say, I'm going to cut down on a little bit of work because it's giving me my time, me time and my family time. It could mean that there will be a slight pinch in your pocket, but that is a conscious call you have to take, because ultimately what's the point in stacking loads of money and then finally falling ill and paying all of that to the hospitals because you're not taking care, because you're not happy. So focus has to be leading a happy, fulfilling life. Okay. So anyway, let me end by saying thank you to Dipesh and all of you at JITO for having me here. So don't get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life, because the satisfaction that you get from living a life will not be the same satisfaction you get while just focusing on work. So once again, thank you so much for having me here.
Please do. So may I call on stage Deep to hand over a small bouquet for star speaker for the day. May also call Sudarshan and Preeti on the stage.
Firstly, on behalf of International Trade Organization's Youth Wing, I'd like to thank Shubhashri Sriram ma'am for having been here, spent some time with us, sharing some quality inputs on work-life balance. We will remember the self comes first, the family next, and the work comes. I'm sure you've got the order, but something right now in order that needs to happen right now is that we need to thank her, and we want to thank you with a token of appreciation and gratitude.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
must take about 15-20 minutes right there. Stop.
स्टॉप कर दिया, लिया ही नहीं, अच्छा।